Let's go on to a very interesting portion of this chapter, that is how you represent sets using a particular particular kind of diagrams called Venn diagrams, and as the name indicates, it was actually implemented in this form by a mathematician named John Venn, even though the idea was first proposed by Euler. Now, as we found in the definition of the universal set, whenever we draw or represent a set or a set operation by means of Venn diagrams, the first thing you have to represent is naturally the universal set, and it's done by drawing a rectangle with a capital U on one side. Now, this rectangle theoretically indicates points inside that. The points refers to the elements of the universal set, even though in actual case we don't put the points. So you begin by drawing a rectangle and putting a capital letter on one side, that is U, to indicate that we are dealing with an universal set, and then draw whatever sets or set operations we have to represent. Now, how do you represent a set inside a universal set? It's done by drawing a circle, and not that the circle ought to be empty, in the sense that if the circle is shaded or darkened, it indicates choosing of elements of the circle, and that is done particularly for a specific set operation, which we will be seeing very shortly. So suppose for a given set A, we are representing it by drawing a circle, and that's how it's done. And naturally, as the set is coming inside the rectangle, as the elements of set A belongs to U, it simply means that A is contained in U, or A is a subset of the universal set. Now, what if A is a subset of another set B? In such a case, naturally, we had to draw a bigger circle, and the bigger one will represent set B, the smaller one would be A, which simply means that in this case A is a subset of B. And of course, once again, both the sets are coming under the universal set. One point I have to reiterate is that when you draw it by in a hand manner, I mean, there's a chance that you may not get the rectangle straight enough, so, and the circle. So when you are doing it in an examination paper or notes, it's better you use scales and instruments to do it. So that's how a particular subset is represented in a Venn diagram. Suppose we are dealing with two sets and two given sets A and B which have common elements. Naturally, you draw it in such a manner that they overlap, and now this overlapping indicates means that they are having common elements, and this and if you are referring to choosing the common elements, that operation is called intersection. So A intersection B, that's the point, and it's done by the notation is the U, the letter U, which is drawn upside down. That's so A intersection means choosing the elements which are common to sets A and B, and in this particular case, to indicate that indicate the elements, we are darkening the middle portion, or we are darkening the common portion of the two sets or of the two circles, indicating their respective sets. Now, what about A union B? That's all the elements of A and B. That's very simple. You have to darken both the circles, including the middle portion, and that's how it's done. Now, there's another interesting case where what if the elements of two sets have nothing in common. There's no element of A present in B, and it's also the case the other way around. Such a case is what is called a disjoint set. And naturally, we can't draw the circles as overlapping. So the circles are drawn separately, but once again, they are drawn inside the rectangle, which represents the universal set. And of course, in such a case, we can see that to indicate those elements of A which are not present in B, that the portion is the portion is the area of the circle which doesn't include the intersection. So that's also the case the other way around. That is for indicating those elements of B which are not in A. The shaded portion is the area of A which doesn't include the intersection area of, sorry, the shaded portion is the area of B which doesn't include the intersection area of B. Now, in a set language, it simply means if X is an element of A minus B, it means that can happen only and only if X is an element of A, but X is not an element of B. Thank you.